Hey, so yes, the account is reset. A clean slate. Well, not exactly clean. I'm technically not starting from nothing. I'll explain that in a second. The natural questions right now are probably why reset, what's next, what kind of run is this going to be? Hardcore, 0 to hero, no scav, no death, kappa attempt again. None of that. And the reason connects directly to why I reset in the first place. Terminal is a one-time experience. Once you clear it, that's it. You don't just queue up and go again. Believe me, I tried. And originally the plan was very simple. Experience it together with my friends. That was the idea from the start. The problem was timing. They were slightly behind in progression. I didn't want to rush them and I didn't want to sit around doing nothing either. So I thought it might be fun to record my first attempt solo. Just collect some raw footage. Capture what the map feels like when you walk in for the first time. And documenting that first experience for YouTube. And then I cleared it. First try. Which sounds great, and it was, but it also created a weird situation. Now I'm ahead of my friends, and behind at the same time. Ahead because I already cleared Terminal, behind because the next group run is forming and my account isn't in the right state to do it again. Since you can't replay Terminal on a cleared account, the only way to experience it together is to reset, and build back up fast enough to be ready when they are. That's where this reset comes from. The difficulty is that I don't know the exact time frame. My friends don't progress at a constant pace. Some days they grind hard, some days they barely log in. That makes it almost impossible to calculate how much time I really have. Which means I have to assume the window is smaller than I think. So yes, this is a speedrun. Not a challenge speedrun, but a practical one. A massively accelerated progression run with one goal. Reach terminal readiness again before the opportunity to do it together closes. To make that even possible, I didn't start from zero. In fact, I started the opposite way. I'm beginning this run with full endgame gear. Two roughly 150 kilogram backpacks sitting across my friends' stashes, filled with high tier armor, weapons, ammo, everything. We transferred all of that on factory before the reset. On top of that, they were helping me with early hideout progression and keys, dropping items that I don't need fountain raids so the infrastructure can come online immediately. You may ask, why do it this way? There are very specific requirements I need to hit before I can even think about Terminal again. Story progression is one part, and that's relatively straightforward. The bigger commitment is Lightkeeper. I finally decided to go for the survivor ending, which means I can save 200 million rubles by unlocking Lightkeeper. Don't get me wrong, 300 million rubles is still a massive amount to farm, but a lot more manageable. Unlocking Lightkeeper requires you to have Intelligence Center level 2. And that's where early hideout acceleration becomes important. Without a head start, that timeline stretches way too far. So yeah, the tone of this reset is different from what you usually see on YouTube. It's not about proving difficulty. It's not about 100% completion. It's about speed and efficiency. I'll still complete early side quests because I need the experience. You'll see some of those in my Sit With Me episodes. But every quest, every raid, every decision is filtered through the same question. Does this move me closer to Terminal or not? Now let's talk about preparation, because that part was actually carefully planned. The night I cleared Terminal, I was already thinking about resetting. I started mapping out what would slow me down and how to remove it. I parked a huge backpack at each of my friends' stashes. After we did the gear transfer on factory, I burned my last 2 labyrinth cards with them and handed over all of my remaining high tier ammo so nothing goes to waste. Then came the reset. You do that on the Tarkov website. If you're playing both PvP and PvE, be extremely careful here. Make sure you select the correct profile. There's no undo button. Once it's gone, it's gone. After resetting, I created the character. Always Usek, always Josh. And completed the tutorial. Yes, I know you can alter 4 out of it. I didn't. As soon as that was done, came the gear transfer back. I immediately pushed through tour as fast as possible. I managed to complete all of that within the first 2 days, while also doing Falling Skies and several early side quests. The upcoming Sit With Me episode is a full Ground Zero run, covering what used to be the introduction questline before the 1.0 tutorial existed. Actually, one of the bigger hurdles early on was the $20,000 requirement to gain Lighthouse access, and of course the lab card. I got really lucky and found a lab card in one of my first raids. For the dollars, I ran streets and filled the largest backpack with pure value. That single run covered most of my requirement. Using my transferred backpacks, I pre-sent the first 6 gunsmith weapons and a stack of essential hideout materials. Anything missing, my friends dropped in the following raids. By the end of the day, most of my early hideout infrastructure was already operational. There's one other major obstacle: time gates. I tried to align some of them with a short trip I took to watch the Super Bowl with a friend, so some of them would finish while I wasn't home, but even then, there was still a surprising amount of waiting involved. As of recording this, we are exactly 7 days in. I'm level 23. The story has progressed far enough so that I need to unlock Lightkeeper. Network provider is active and I'm missing only 2 coffins. Once Lightkeeper is unlocked, I'll commit to the survivor path and begin pushing towards the 300 million rubles. Realistically, that means a lot of loot runs. Mostly labs, which means I need level 30 to buy lab cards reliably. So there you have it, that's the plan. You still get guides, you still get system breakdowns, and you will be able to follow this accelerated climb towards a second ending. If you were hoping for a hardcore or zero to hero run, that will come at some point, just not now, not in this window. Right now the priority is simple. Line up with my friends again and experience Terminal together, the way it was originally meant to happen. Before we end, here are some of the most important moments that lead up to the episode on Wednesday. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, it would be awesome if you liked and subscribed. See you in the next one. Bye bye.